Good morning, Bitcoins.
Price down. Don't be scared now, your boys up in the house. The Bitcoins are what I scoop up. You want to touch mine, my friend, me up the shoot ya. So never be scared. The market's full of bears. But I'm a bull and I'm bullish, you know I'm not bullish, so yes, we gon' do this. Government's gonna fear me. I never give a fuck about my enemy. You're never gonna stop this. There's way too much adoption. Overstocking now, Zynga. Tiger directing now, Expedia. They just keep growing, picking up on the low end. Price down, pick up. Price down, pick up.
Bitcoin is on sale. How big is the sale? No one knows. How long is the sale? No one knows. Only Zhao Tong.
Shout out to Tatiana Moros. Shout out to Naomi Brockwell. I see a concert coming soon. Shout out to Sean Dalpost. We love you. Shout out to Charlie Shrimp. We love you. Shout out to Liberty.me. Jeffrey, keep doing what you're doing. Andreas Antonopoulos, keep doing what you're doing. Roger Bear, the Bitcoin Jesus. Let's talk Bitcoin. Adam Levine.
Yeah.
Hey, friend meetup. We'll see you soon.
Ow.
The Bitcoin meetup. Let's keep coming together. Downtown loves you all. And I'm out.
Yeah, exciting morning and welcome to Mad Bitcoins Live, where the price has already recovered to 2,600. Not even really a dip anymore. I thought we were touching 25. Come on now. It's so sad. We don't do this when it goes up. It doesn't usually go up as fast as it goes down, but there's just something beautiful about it. Of course, Bitcoin, the price is 2603. But what else is going around? Well, we've got the cryptocurrency market cap. Everything, a sea of red. Everything but Ethereum, who seems to have separated from the Bitcoin price and now is up 6.43% to $366. Meanwhile, at Coinbase.com, the website is broken because everyone is excited and they all want to sell. Let's give it another refresh live. Here you go. Oh, Coinbase service unavailable, but at least they got the rotating background back. Nice work, Coinbase. Meanwhile, going over to CoinDesk, we've got no evidence of this story. Nothing is happening, for the world is hollow, and I have touched the sky. But I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep, for the world is hollow, and I have touched the sky. The price of Bitcoin has fallen, but Ethereum survives. What do you guys think? I'm looking at the chat. You're saying bad shitcoins. Love this show. So hyped. Fortunately, I don't have very much planned to say beyond this. Brain Cramp says, what are you going to do when Bitcoin makes you a millionaire? Buy the dip. I'm going to read books and sit on the beach. And maybe just read books inside where it's nice. I don't know. Bye, says Agatha. Derek says, yo. Agartha says, where are you hiding? And they're complaining about Coinbase. Well, sometimes they might just be protecting you from yourself. Because who knows? You might want to freak out and sell right now. And since you can't log into Coinbase, you're actually safer. So there you go. Service unavailable. Can't buy the dips on Coinbase. Don't lie. Oh no, I'm not a millionaire. No, I never had money when Bitcoin was low, and I don't have money now. So no, I mean I'm doing all right, but no, I need a job. Job. But Let us see what else you've got going on here in the price. Ripple at 24 cents. Seems like it was just 36 cents the other day. Ethereum Classic at $19. That's insane. Could have bought those. Litecoin still at $28. That's still 7 times off of the $4 they were before segregated witness. And we're joined by Jimmy Song live. Welcome, Jimmy Song, to the show. We were just talking about how excited everyone is that the price is down on Bitcoin. We even played some of Zhao Tong's now classic Bitcoin anthem, which we'll play some more of. This is just so good. But where's the part where he starts talking? Come on. Woo! People love this song. Because the price of Bitcoin is down. Jimmy, what can we do? We're losing all this imaginary money that we never had. What can we do?
Well, whenever things are volatile, if you've been through this a lot of times, you always sort of have to think about the long term, right? Like, back when it went from 266 to about 50 in the course of like 8 hours. That happened to be my birthday, by the way, greatest birthday ever. That was pretty rough, right? Because if you haven't been through these before, it tends to be rough. But if you stick to your investment thesis, and if you are correct in your investment thesis, then these ups and downs shouldn't affect you very much. And in fact, they're kind of good opportunities to buy. But if it's not, if you're just sort of in it to speculate, then this can be a problem. And I imagine for people holding a lot of these altcoins or ICOs or whatever, this may be a problem, because a lot of these ICOs or altcoins are down as much as Bitcoin is. So we'll next things.
Now, have you heard the new round of FUD? The new round of FUD, let's go ahead and predict the future here. Ethereum is the media darling. It's Bitcoin with a face. You can roll back the transactions. They already rolled them back once as if it was an advertisement for future rollbacks. So based upon all those things, we know that the media is going to love Ethereum and hate Bitcoin. Bitcoin's dirty drug money, you dirty internet hippies. Ethereum is really cool, smart nerd money invented by Vitalik, right? So as that narrative grows, the Ethereum market cap, we all know it's going to happen. It's going to pass the Bitcoin market cap, because speculation knows no bounds. It doesn't matter about logic or any of those things. But once it does, and they start writing those things, will the price of Bitcoin go down more? Is it all about emotions?
That's a really good question. I wish I kind of knew. I mean, we do know what the killer app for Ethereum is, and it's ICO investment at the moment. And there's a lot of different ICOs, including one this morning that happened to raise a lot of money. Now, I can't speculate as to how long that'll go on or whatever. But I will note that because these companies are raising money in Ethereum, what's going to happen is if it goes down any, then there's going to be a mad rush for the door, because if $50 million or something in Ethereum, well, it's only in Ethereum, it's only worth that much as long as it's Ethereum holds on to its current value. But if it's going down, well, what are these companies going to do? They're going to need to pay out their developers or whatever it is that they're working on. They're going to meet payroll. They're kind of going to be forced to sell. It's kind of like this is obviously there's always sort of mining pressure on the sell side. But if these companies have to sell Ethereum to keep their projects going, well, that's a long-term price. Now, that's not to say that there won't be more investors coming in for to offset that, but I mean, I can imagine it going down really fast. Bitcoin has gone down really fast too. But I mean, and Ethereum really hasn't had that yet. It'll be really interesting to see how quickly that happens, because I mean, bumps are inevitable in this sort of space. So yeah, who knows?
Well, and remember, people now have millions of dollars in Ethereum. They invested thousands. They did really well. They have millions. Are they ready for a $500 drop? Are they ready for this kind of percentage pullback? Because like, as a Bitcoiner, I'm laughing because, of course, I made my stupid sells to live on before the price tripled. So, of course, I'm already out. I'm not enjoying this. I wasn't enjoying missing all the fun either, but it's all about when you've made your sells and if you're able to just hold your longs long. And are these Ethereum people willing to go long if they see it make a major move?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I do know that Bitcoin's main value proposition is as a store of value. So, and there's a limit, whereas Ethereum doesn't really have one, right? It keeps increasing to infinity. There's definitely that to consider, and what will happen, right? Like some people view inflation as a good thing, and you know that's what I've heard from friends that do support Ethereum. I mean, store of value is going to be store of value, and that at least by my investment thesis, that's a very good thing, and that should keep Bitcoin's prospects up. Whereas with Ethereum, you know, we have a lot of unknowns, and we don't really know how the market will react. I mean, it's going up great right now, and everybody's happy when things are going up. It's how you react when things are going down that will really determine your fate. And that can't, I mean, that's been true of Bitcoin, right? We went through a 3 year, not a very small, you know, not a very short, you know, down market, and we survived and we've come back stronger. Yeah, let's see what let's see what Ethereum and its community is made out of. I mean, that will happen. We just don't know when, but it will happen, and I'm very curious as well.
Now, obviously, in the perfect timing department, we have this article from Forbes. Now, since it's Forbes, I'm obviously using an incognito browser window because Forbes won't let you see their content without an ad blocker. So, of course, we'd like you all to retire comfortably, and you should buy this book called The Definitive Guide to Retirement Income. Maybe you'll retire in this tree house that they call a shed. You could live inside an affordable prefab shed. But anyway, on to the article. Raoul Paul, Bitcoin is mania and not a store of value. I sold out last week. Good for you. Convenient timing. I wonder if you waited after the crash. 9:41 a.m., probably East Coast time. And he says that Bitcoin is a bubble. It's a mania. It's gone up to a certain price, and now it's going to go down. Exponential moves always blow up. But I think the most interesting part about this article is his misinterpretation of the Bitcoin scaling drama. And I believe we're going to see more and more of this in the future. Get ready for your worst nightmare, Jimmy, because his interpretation of the Bitcoin scaling is that a hard fork would change the 21 million Bitcoin limit, maybe just double it to 42 million Bitcoins. Is this misinterpretation going to go viral? Is the media incapable of understanding scaling except with the simple idea, twice as many Bitcoins, no more block transaction problems? Have we seen?
Well, I mean, this is a really interesting way to interpret it, and he's not wrong, right? If you do split into two coins, you have 21 million on one and 21 million on the other, but that's not exactly the same thing. And you know, for a lot of people, that's actually kind of scary if it does split, because it does sort of you know, violate some of the store of value proposition, and which is why a lot of people are trying to work towards a solution here on the scaling debate. Yeah, I mean, I think the greater danger that you have to think about is if there's sort of like a minor monopoly or a developer monopoly that forms and, you know, sort of decides that the 21 million limit is no longer like something that we want. That would be a major sort of violation of store value. But yeah, I mean, to some degree, I understand where he's coming from. it is a misinterpretation though. But I mean, he's wrong, but he's right, right? Like he's wrong in one way because it doesn't go from 21 million to 42 million on one chain. It's two different chains. But he's right in the sense that if there is a split, there's some violation of store of value trust there, which may affect price as well.
And speaking of violating store of value, here's Tone Vase to tell us all about the cup and the saucer and all the other amazing figures we're seeing on this chart. Tone, is there support? Will we fall further?
Oh man, now you really put me on the spot here. This is tough right now. I mean, I can do a share screen. I mean, I tried tweeting stuff out this morning. I did give a warning to all my followers on yesterday's video in the afternoon. There was definitely caution in the charts that people needed to take seriously. And I've gotten some tweets back. Some people actually took some profit off the table last night, and they were able to get out at the high at like 29.70. Of course, I'm the idiot, and I even said on that video, I was gonna buy something online with Bitcoin, and it was not gonna be cheap. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy it at 29.75. And then I got fucking busy as usual. Next thing I know, I wake up in the morning and the price is down. I'm like, son of a bitch. That's the second time I was gonna buy something after Bitcoin was already above 2,900. And I missed it both times. This shows you like I'm a terrible market timer. Screen real quick, just to show you guys what I'm at.
A really sweet laptop. I was saying the other day you could get a Mac desktop and a Mac laptop, and I used to be only able to get like half a laptop. So.
Right. Well, this was the reason for last night's tale of caution. Basically. This number 9 right here, after we've had 9 weeks in a row. Let's see if you can see that fairly clearly. A lot here. All right, come on. Right, so this 9 right here with the down arrow. So this was what I was cautioning people in yesterday's video. This down candle hasn't formed yet when I was doing the video, so you can go back to my channel and see that. And I said this has been an unprecedented run. Now, not as unprecedented as prior runs, but definitely significant. And this is something to seriously pay attention to. Now, normally, this, I mean, they don't always work out, right? So if it doesn't work out, we continue going up and we start making another up count. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that this is signaling that we're going to have a 1 to 4 week pullback, and then we go way higher. And the third thing this is signaling is the potential that we have topped out and it's going to be a prolonged downtrend. Now, if it's scenario 3 and this is a prolonged downtrend, then what I'm looking at is we would continue falling for the next several weeks, all the way down back to like the 1200 area. I don't want to see us below 1200. If it's a 1 to 4 week bounce, then it can turn at any moment, right? So now if we move on to the daily, by the way, sorry guys, this is like random. I just jumped on. I have not tweeted this out. So my followers are probably not, my normal followers are probably not even watching this.
We've got 117 live viewers, and we're going to go ahead and check in with Coinbase one more time. Survey says... Oh, you hate to see them fail a live demo like that. Oh, back to you, Tone.
Wait, what were they doing?
They're trying to run a website.
Oh, they have to keep trying then.
Oh, still no website. Oh, well, back to you, Tone.
Jesus Christ, Coinbase. My God. Hey, can you check the Fudo coins running?
Loading, seeing if it's the right domain name. They say they're having a delay in support tickets and profile verifications, but it looks like you can still log in.
Yeah, it's amazing how like a $1 or $2 million funded company in India that does not have the kind of problems that a $100 million funded company that's about to raise $1 billion or something is having. Sure, you want to show your user login there, Mr. Hunt?
They'll get me anyway. I have $2FA and a whopping like 1 Ether. But it looks like BTC-E is experiencing server trouble, so it's not all unfair on Coinbase.
All right, so let's get back to the daily candles here. So this was an insane day. This is just a huge day, a drop of a day. I mean, this might be related to the Ethereum rise and fall. There is a fairly high probability that the low is in for Bitcoin. Now, this is where the daily chart is conflicting with the weekly chart, right? I mean, the weekly chart is saying this is only the beginning and get ready for some pain. Chart, what I said in yesterday's video is look for a bounce at the 2400 area. And it looks like at the moment, the bounce is holding. But last time, it took 3 days to get that low, it's fractally speaking. And we got here in half a freaking day. So I don't know what that means yet. I mean, it's really too early to tell. If it took like 3 or 4 days to get here, I would be way more bullish on a 2400 bounce. But because we got here so quickly in 1 day, then I don't know, probably not. But it's way too early to tell, guys. And what I just tweeted out. Let's see here. Probably shouldn't do that. At least this folder I can show. It's just my technical stuff.
Don't show them that you use Microsoft Paint, not Paint.
Dude, I love Paint.
Looking for a good Ethereum chart site, but I'm not seeing one.
It's so useful. Let me put up an image of what I just tweeted out a minute ago. Yeah, I'm not going to stay on long. I mean, I do have stuff to do, including reading Jimmy's article and finishing watching Vortex's video from yesterday. And I need to get my Trezor set up. Like, I don't want to be moving my Bitcoin, 3 days before August 1st and then having to pay $800 for a transaction fee. But here's what I tweeted out. Yeah. Here's what I tweeted out, like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, saying that, yes, right now is technically a potential bounce, but I didn't expect us to get here so quickly, right? I mean, that's not how bottoms are usually made. It usually takes, a few days to get there. And so I don't know, but if we do go lower, there is a much better optimal bounce at around 2100. And if we go below that, then Bitcoin could be in a little bit of trouble. And then we go back down, we can go down to 1500. We can even go down to 1200. Like, things start to get a little ugly. I mean, I still think there'll be a liquidity crunch. I still think there'll be huge demand for Bitcoin. The Ethereum and the ICO bubble can't pop soon enough. I don't know if there's another 2 years left. I don't know if Ethereum is going to go to $1,000 a token, $3,000 a token, $18,000 a token. In reality, to me, it's completely irrelevant. It will go the way of Aurora Coin, and it will be, a blockchain that just doesn't die. But anyway, so I don't know when that bubble is going to pop. I mean, the stupidity is getting completely out of control. You saw my Twitter back and forth earlier today with some of the wise and bright new entrants to the crypto space. But anyway, let me just jump onto the short-term chart real quick to finish this off. The short-term chart has a line that's higher than 2,400. This was my prior breakout line, and it's nice that we came back and retested it. It looks like it's around 2,450 on Bitfinex. And again, it looks like we fell below it, and now we're stuck right at it. So this may be over. The panic may be over, but this is a large sell volume. But the second half of the candle is going upwards. So half the sell volume is actually buy volume. Right now, the price picture of Bitcoin is completely neutral. It's 50-50 up or down. So let's give it another half a day to a day. It's way too early to tell. But the weekly picture is looking weak. The daily picture is looking like it could bounce. And the hourly picture is at straight up standstill 50-50.
Exciting stuff there, Tone. And as I was talking with Jimmy earlier, we've already seen the future on Ethereum. It gets bigger. The media loves it. It's not drug money. It's not dirty Bitcoin. It has a founder. You can go right to Vitalik. He'll roll back your transactions if you have a problem. This is a win-win-win. The media is going to love it. It's going to pass Bitcoin in market cap. And what are you going to say then, Tone?
But it's so much worse. Like Ethereum is just so much worse than Bitcoin. I'm just going to be the broken record. I've already called myself the Peter Schiff of like the altcoin space, right? I'm going to be the broken record that's going to keep saying that Ethereum is sustainable from a regulatory perspective because the SEC is going to come crashing down. It's sustainable from a technological perspective because their blockchain has 100 times more difficult scaling problem than Bitcoin does. It's unsustainable from an, I guess, well, there's two different versions of a philosophical perspective, as in no one freaking needs decentralized smart contracts. And Ethereum, Etherheads are trying to convince you that you need decentralized smart contracts, where in reality nobody does. And it's unsustainable from an economic perspective. No one knows what the hell their token is. Is it a currency? Is it gas? Is it a security? Is it even freaking needed? Because Rootstock is trying to recreate Ethereum without the goddamn token. Like these are four gigantic headwinds, and each one of them, it can crush Ethereum to nothing. And my guess, they're all going to come one day that nobody expects. They're all going to come to a head.
And it'll be just like today, and all the Ethereum people will say it's going to be fine, and it's going to rebound, and it's going to come back. How will we ever know? I don't think we'll ever know. But yeah, I do think it's, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, it's going to keep going up. We can take a look at the crypto market cap, that good old website right here. Ethereum has separated from Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down 11%, leading the rest of the cryptocurrency market down, while Ethereum is up 7%, probably because of the ICO that they just had this morning. I already forgot what it's called, something like Bancor, and it raised $150 million. I don't even know what they do. Jimmy, what does Bancor do?
I don't know either. I haven't researched.
Oh, come on. Tim Draper invested. Surely someone read the article. Tone, are you going to buy future services from Bancor?
I have no idea. Oh, wait. I remember someone asked me about Bancor like 3 months ago. I glanced at their website. I spent about 2 minutes reading it, and I immediately replied to the person, it's a total scam. And that's all I really remember from it. I don't even want to go look in the website. Let me tell you what frustrates me the most about Ethereum. What frustrates me most about I am involved in at least 5 to 7 hours of video content per week. None of my friends except one listened to me and bought some Bitcoin. Friend, well, more like a relative of one of my really good friends, but I also know him. some Bitcoin, probably not on my advice, but like happened to buy it on his own a little bit. Nobody else in my circle of life listened to me and bought Bitcoin at any point in their life. And I started talking about Bitcoin in like early 2013 to people, though I didn't get into a little bit later. And right now, like all of these people that I know that have never even watched more than 10 minutes of anything I've done in relation to Bitcoin are all texting me and asking me about Ethereum. And I know none of these people are watching me like right now, or will they ever watch me, but they're all texting me, asking me, like, oh, how come I should invest in Ethereum? I should invest in Ethereum. And as I tell them that it's a scam, they then text me back 3 days later, telling me the price has gone up. These people watch what I do. Like, they don't pay attention to me. And this is now like frustrating the hell out of me, because they're like friends of mine, and I don't really want to ignore their texts. I don't know if you're having this problem, either of you, but this is my current problem.
The price is up, and we are the stupidest people in the world for not buying this thing earlier and sitting on it. We're dumb for not telling them. And yeah, you're right, Tone. The more that it goes up, the more it reinforces the narrative that it is a real thing because of the price is up. So yes, I don't think it matters.
Sorry, Thomas. I can just text that. Yeah. So and one other thing, like now, like on Twitter, I at this point, like when people ask me like about Ethereum, I just tell them I will recommend Ethereum to you if you promise me you will sell your house and anything you see of value in that house, and you put all of that money in Ethereum. Because at this point, this is the only way I can teach people a lesson.
And again, it would probably go up in value. Jimmy, are you going to sell it all, put it all in Ethereum?
No. I mean, you gotta understand, like, there's been a lot, like, the market stay irrational a really long time, and we have no idea how long it's going to last. We've watched a lot of, I mean, everyone knows about these companies that go up for a long time until they don't, and then they just sort of completely collapse. And we don't know if Ethereum is one of those or something that will last a long time. I personally don't think it is, but I could be wrong, and I have no idea. I'm always open to having my mind change. I don't know, but at this point, the fact that Ethereum's going up and Bitcoin's coming down today, it's a short-term fluctuation. I don't know if it necessarily means all that much. Long-term is where the truth gets found out, right? Like, short-term, things are going to happen, and the market's not going to look very rational on any given day. But over the long haul, it's definitely going to be rational, and we'll see, I guess, in about. But I don't know. Even that might be too long or too short of a time horizon to actually see.
Ethereum's now at 0.14 Bitcoin. For a long time, people weren't sure if it would break the 0.1, but look at that, it shattered it. $367 a coin. The guy in the chat said he bought for $750. How could it not be a real thing? I don't know. All right, what else you guys want to talk about? Running out of stories. We've got an active chat, 181 live viewers. Thanks to everybody for giving us a thumbs up and a share and subscribe. We're over on the MadBitcoins channel, which seems like slumming it with our 6,000 subscribers, with the World Crypto Network's 12. But we supported them, and now they're supporting us. So the subscribers are going to come back and forth, and everyone will subscribe to both. Tone, what do you think? You've got stuff to do. The price, should people be buying right now? 26.47, it's going back up. Let's see. Yes, they should. It's pretty sharp. They're saying Tone's still muted. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. It's honestly, it's not that bad of a time to buy right now. But you remember, if you're buying it for the long term, this is good because you avoided buying it at 2,900. So buying it at 2,400 is not bad, though it's not even 2,400 anymore, right? It's now back to 26. Yeah, it's coming back up. It was a bit of a scare. I hope I didn't cause the scare, because yesterday when I gave people caution, I honestly, like, this is scaring me a little bit. I think I'm now at a point where, like, I don't think I am, but it just feels like I'm starting to have some influence on the market based on what I say, and that's not a good thing, guys. It's really not. I've noticed it on my tweets. Like, the moment I tweet something out, like, the price immediately does exactly what I say it's going to do. And I keep telling people, I'm not this good. I am not this good. People immediately started tweeting how I've been saying that, how I said yesterday, if the price crashes, 2,400 is a good buy. And it looks like that's where people bought it. And 2,400 on Bitfinex, that's pretty much where it fell to on Bitfinex, a little lower than that. Flashed to 23, but only very, very quickly. Like, it only stayed at 2,400 for like minutes for you to pick that up. And yeah, so I think I'm starting to have some influence on the market. Several people tweeted at me saying, hey, I took your advice last night and I sold, took the profit. And I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't really want to be the Janet Yellen of the Bitcoin space. I don't want this kind of responsibility because I'm a holder of Bitcoin. Like, I'm not selling, right? If I see something in the charts that's a sell and I tell everybody to sell, like, it's like I'm the idiot that didn't invest in Ethereum and is now, like, driving the price of Bitcoin down while holding on to Bitcoin, right? Like, I'm not, I mean, how much of an idiot can I be? So my honesty can only go so far. So we'll see how it goes. I've been on an unprecedented run, even going back to last year, on calling the price of Bitcoin. And I don't know if I want this kind of a responsibility, guys. So I have a lot to think about. And all I've been doing lately is just watching the Bitcoin price, not being very productive, like shooting videos. I mean, I'm productive for you, but people are now emailing me, trying to hire me as a consultant to help them protect their Bitcoins. And I don't think I'm qualified right now to help them protect their Bitcoins, because my Bitcoins are unprotected right now for the user-activated soft fork. And that's what I really should be focused on, getting that set up.
All right, well, there's a lot to unpack there for anyone just joining us now. Tone can control the price of Bitcoin with his mind. He spends most of his time watching the price to make sure it stays high, and the rest of the time making sure that the price doesn't help his own investment. So it's only for altruistic purposes that Tone can control the price. But let's talk about the Bancor network token. Are you ready for this? The Bancor network token will hold, I don't know what this means, a single reserve in Ether. Other smart tokens, I don't know, by using Bancor as one of their reserves, connect to the Bancor network. So it sounds like ICOs could give them tokens and then become a part of the Bancor network, and then the ICOs could trade the tokens back and forth. They have smart contracts. They've got code. You can sign up for updates. They've got
Hey, go to their team. Can you go to the team? Can you go to their advisors? Can you go to their like who the hell's doing this?
Let's see. They have an about. They have a foundation, the Bancor Foundation. Let's see. Here we are. Eyal Herzog, Guy Benzarti, Guido Schmutzger-Kmunzers. Let's see. Over 20 years, over 15 years, over 25 years. Nobody that can install Linux. It doesn't matter. No one that can install Linux so far. Let's see. CTO, over 15 years. He might be able to install Linux. All right. Business development, 10 years. 15 years experience, and a wine enthusiast. Core developer, 5 years experience. There we go. Military computer science training. That sounds scary. This guy also has elite military computer science training. There's a lot of engineers on this thing. Oh, Tim Draper. Give him all your money.
Advisor?
He is an advisor. I wonder if Tim Draper making all those statements about it didn't help sell the company.
No, of course not. Why would that help?
No, not at all. But yeah, here's the team. A lot of people.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on my end. This is borderline embarrassing.
Well, I think they raised $150 million. So once again, as the market said, it's a real thing now, right? If you raise $150 million, you're real. So.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the foundation. Wait, so the foundation council has nobody there that's familiar with crypto. Excellent. So now let's see.
Here we go. Coindesk doesn't have time to write about the price going down or Coinbase, who they're invested in, having website problems.
Coinbase wouldn't even know what the price of Bitcoin is if it wasn't blasted right there. They're not interested in Bitcoin.
Here we
just
are.
trying to pump the next ICO.
$153 million in Ether. There were 10,000 buyers, or 10,000 addresses, if you want to call those individuals. Token allocation. Oh, look, 12% will be used in marketing and business development. That's detailed. There were complaints.
There's nobody on that entire list of people with pictures that would answer the question what a blockchain is. This is insane.
You don't need a blockchain anymore.
No, you have a
Here we go. This guy right here, it's in his title, blockchain advisor. See?
Blockchain advisor, excellent. Well, what do we know?
He has
Manny's actually a known figure in the Bitcoin community, so yeah, he probably knows something.
I like how he has a Bitcoin talk profile and nothing else. That's like, you're right, this stands out. Look how it stands out amongst all the other LinkedIn. Nobody has a Twitter though.
Wait, what's his name? Oh, Manny?
Manny Rosenfeld. He's been involved for a long time. I've seen his name pop up here and there since like 2013 at least.
Yeah, so his description is the same as mine. He has an MS in mathematics. Excellent. So do I. Now what? I mean, come on, give me a break.
Now he has $150 million, so he's a real thing. 153 million plus 7%. So killer for them. I'll bet there's some website people can tell me in the chat where you can already find out how much money they've made from investing in the ICO. Meanwhile, we've made no money, but we have 200 live viewers. Thanks to everybody for giving us a thumbs up and a share. And if you want to donate that old Bitcoin stuff, here's an address. Now we're over 200 live viewers. Now it's not true anymore.
Yeah, I haven't actually tweeted this out yet. Now I feel bad. If I tweet this out to my followers, they would have, and they joined, they would have already missed all my price talk.
They'll have to rewind it later, but I'm not sure what else we're going to talk about. We'll see if the audience has anything to say. They say the battle of the egos. How do you know it was one person and one account? It could have been more. One guy bought Bancor coins for $19 million. Wow, how can we get a hold of that guy's email address? Let's see. Bitcoin has bottomed. You could hire Amanda. And then, yeah, that we need to watch out for.
Oh, yeah, Amanda is totally for sale. All you got to do is give her more money than what Dash has given her, and you got her.
That's not nice. Don't say that. But good for her. And let's see, low amount of tokens in the Bancor sale. Let's see, they're talking about the Drapers. But yeah, I'm not sure that the audience believes that you can control the price of Bitcoin tone. But watch out for that one.
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell who's influencing who on that sort of thing, right? Because it's possible people are listening, but like there's no other alternate universe where tone didn't say it that we can measure it against. I will say though that, like it's gone down, 15% today or something like that. Let's not forget, we've gone up like 200% this year. That's a lot of money. And that's that's something to remember. Like this small daily blip, this is what Bitcoin is like. You'll go up in a few months and go down 15% in one day. That's just how it is. And, you know, I mean, same thing with a lot of these altcoins too. I mean, they're more volatile largely because they're a lot younger than Bitcoin is. The shorter time frame that these things have had, the more volatility it's going to have. And it's kind of crazy because like a lot of these ICOs, they you know, they didn't exist like the day before, and then they exist, and then they're traded almost right away on these like you know, altcoin exchanges. The volatility on a lot of the pricing information is meant to show you what the potential of that thing is supposed to be. And there's so much uncertainty around some of this stuff that the price fluctuations are insane. I imagine it'll come down much faster than it's gone up, and it's gone up really, really fast. So you got to think about that and like, you know, be sort of mentally prepared for a lot of this investment stuff, because it's going to go up and down like crazy, and it'll go down faster than it goes up.
Excellent stuff. And for those checking in, Coinbase is still down. We've been refreshing the page frantically, trying to get in there. You can't panic sell and you can't panic buy. But we've got about 200 live viewers. Not sure what to do with you. Maybe we'll play the Zhao Tong song again. It's great to check out the Bancor ICO, $153 million this morning. Probably keeping the price of Ethereum up. But like Jimmy said, they do now have $153 million in Ethereum. You got to figure they're going to offload some of that to cover their basis. Looking at the altcoins, down 10%, 15, 17, 18. Let's see, anybody really big? Oh, NXT is up 20%, 16 cents. That's a dead project. Still walking though. Everything's still alive. Something called Round is down 24%. Never heard of Round. It's the number 36 currency. I'm sure you guys have all been watching. BitShares has gone up quite a lot lately. They're way up here in the top 10 or so. Seem to be holding flat. Not sure how that's possible. Steem also doubled or tripled lately. It was around $2, $3 a coin. Pretty crazy. Looking for one bigger than 24% with Round. 22% with ARK. That's a nice try. Red coin still up there. Not seeing a bigger drop than 24%. Oh, here we go. Token Card up 32%. Let's talk about Token Card.
Hey, Thomas, why don't you just sort on that column?
That would be less fun. What about Token Card? Tone, have you ever invested in Token Card? The all-powerful smart contract-powered debit card? Let me get this on the screen so people can see. Your activity. Your Starbucks. Oh, look at people gave them all these coins. Your finances just got easier. Wow. Nicely done, Token Card. I'm sure they need a currency for that. E-Dinar coin. BitBay. Oh, I just talked about that this morning. Down 12%. Rough.
The crazy thing is, like, look at the volumes on these things. It's a few $100,000, maybe a couple million. It's crazy to me that there's even that much volume. Watching Mastercoin for a long time and Omni, some days they would have volumes of like $30, which is like right now they're doing like millions in volume, which is insane. Like there's a lot of traders that have come into the space, it seems like.
And most of these coins, you can see a move when you sell yours. When you move the market, you like move a couple $100 out and the price goes down and you can't get your sells in before they go. But yeah, Round is the champion, 24% down. Match Pool down 23%. LBRY credits. I always wondered what this was. What do you guys think? Is it going to be like library credits? Is it going to have something to do with the book? Is there like a book tie-in? Content freedom, an open, community-run digital marketplace. It sounds like Open Bazaar, but for content. Hollywood films, early access. Wow. It's amazing. This is great. They need a currency. Somebody get these people a currency. Is it too late? Is there time? All right, let's go back to the top. Token card. That's what we should have bought today. $1.18. What do you think? MadBitcoins is researching shitcoins. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Bitcoin.
All right, guys. I'll let you be. Looks like the price is not staying up there. It's now going back and forth. I don't know. I don't have that much of a price prediction at the moment. I already gave them earlier in the show. I'm gonna get going. Just wanted to jump on, throw my charts up there. My followers will see it. But other than that, I'll keep updating you guys on Twitter. My normal show is Wednesday. Maybe I'll do one, or maybe I'll do one tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how the charts look. And yeah, I got to get back to learning. Look, the user activated soft fork. I mean, that's the stuff. I mean, I think it's going good. I think I'm liking the progress. I'm liking that the community is taking it seriously, and I like that the community is putting pressure on a lot of the economic nodes to take this shit seriously. And price will recover once the hard part's done and we have SegWit. I'm gonna keep fighting for. So let me go and do some more reading and stuff like that.
Yeah, Tone, can you take a look at my article? I think I don't know. I was hoping that it would be a little bit more popular. It looks like it's not nearly as popular as, say, like my Monday comment. But basically, I argue that maybe we should look for a way to help everybody, and I think it could happen if we take a look at some of these alternatives. But I don't know. There's right now that I mean, obviously the price thing is sort of drowning everything else in the noise. But take a look at some of the proposed solutions there.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check it out. I read the first paragraph, actually. I was just gonna save the rest till after I was done with Vortex's video. But I don't know, I just keep getting distracted. Like, group chats are pulling me in, and I don't know. I gotta get really better at time management. I gotta not sucker myself in to all this Twitter nonsense. Like, it's hard. Look, I'm new to being a content creator, right? I mean, I'm not used to this kind of randomness. Like, emails are coming in, and like it's I'm still not fully used to it. This is the time that I wish I was rich and that I can just have a bunch of assistants spam filtering everything, and then someone smart getting to me and then replying for me. So maybe I'll get there. Let's see if we get this user activated soft fork in price of Bitcoin, doubles, triples from here. It'd be great.
When I get assistants, I won't make them be a spam filter.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks to 250 live viewers for tuning in. And hey, follow, subscribe. Catch you soon on my channel.
Bye, Tone. Still with the chat. We've got 204 live viewers. The chat says that they're all sold out of video cards at Newegg and Amazon, if that means anything to you. So people are still buying GPUs with the hopes of mining Ethereum so that they can get rich on Ethereum and mining.
Well, it's not just Ethereum, right? There's a lot of coins now, and most of them don't have FPGAs or ASICs available for the proof of work algorithm that you're using. So GPUs are the main thing. At one point, like AMD, for example, they overproduced on the GPUs when it was hot for doing a lot of mining, and they got kind of burned by that. But there's a market for this stuff, and it's interesting that we're kind of getting to the point where it might make sense for some of these manufacturers to not just through GPUs, but ASICs, which would be very exciting.
I know the Bits Be Trippin' channel has been doing a lot of great videos about mining with graphics cards. They'll show you how to build an enclosure. It seems like you usually have to run about 5 or maybe 10 graphics cards at a time if you really want to be taken seriously. So that's a big investment. That's a lot of graphics cards.
Right. And yeah, mining is a weird thing. I Litecoin a long time ago and a bunch of GPUs, and I kept it in a room in my house. That room was always super hot. Like nobody ever wanted to go into that room. And it's not meant to be, I think, really like sort of like a solo effort. If you're going to do it, you're going to need, like a dedicated space with air conditioning, temperature control, and, your own power supply that's not going to die and all this other stuff. It's not a cheap endeavor. But, everyone that learns about Bitcoin, they kind of go through the same thing, right? It's like, hey, you can mine and make your own thing. Oh, yeah, you can, but it's meant to be kind of hard. And if you do it and figure it out, more power to you. But it's a difficult business. And, like, anyways, a lot like the gold rush from the 1850s or whatever. It's not supposed to be easy. And, people that went thinking, hey, I'm going to make lots of money moving out west and just digging for gold. Well, it's not so simple, right? Like, and it never is. You're going to have to put in hard work, whatever it is that you think is a good way to make money. That's just part and parcel of a capitalist economy. Is you're going to have to work hard, even if it's just like buying and holding Bitcoin. Right? Today's a perfect example. You're going to have to suffer through some of these down days, and you're going to have to emotionally sort of control yourself and not panic sell or something, and go through all the bad feelings that you get when it drops, or the envy that you feel when you see Ethereum popping. That's part of what you have to sort of deal with all this stuff, and that's a normal thing. Yeah, don't make any mistakes. You're definitely earning every single penny of whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's emotional with your time or with your skills.
Well, that's a good point, Jimmy. We haven't talked about that. Usually we cover it up front. We need to remember all of our old ways. If you've just lost a bunch of money in Bitcoin, don't panic. Don't freak out. If you need to, call the suicide hotline, get some help. Like, there's help out there for you. There are other options. And with Bitcoin, if you just hold it, your money will probably come back. So if you bought it like 2,700 and you're freaking out now because you've lost more money than you've ever lost in your life, welcome to Bitcoin. Because for years I had to pretend like I didn't have any Bitcoin because the price was so low. If I thought about what I had, I would just get very sad about how much money I'd lost and how stupid I was to hold for so long. And then I just kept holding, and now there is more, and that's great. So everyone will be okay. The chat, they say they're heating their rooms with their mining rigs. They're talking about how fun it was. They heated their whole house during the winter of 2013. Different GPUs. It's so funny, the GPUs, the graphics cards, they're always about how great your graphics are and how you'll be able to Quake and Doom at such a high level. They never talked about how hot they'd make your house. This one will heat a house to this degree, and this one will heat this much space. And if you only had 10 of them in 3 rooms with fans, you could heat the whole house, even in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So there's lots of options out there. Don't panic. Some people are panicking. Let's see if Coinbase is back up, because certainly you can't even panic sell until Coinbase comes back up. So you've already been prevented from selling at 2,400. Still unavailable. That's just embarrassing, man. I mean, is it because I'm going to the 503 page? Is it just always going to say that? Oh no, it goes back to there. Okay, so that was fair. The price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a good sign, man, because that's what happened with Mt. Gox, right? When they were falling and you couldn't reach them. Please don't use Coinbase if they're gonna keep doing this. Go use some other place, and there's plenty of other exchanges, Bitstamp, Bitfinex, that are up right now. Go and use those. It's sort of a lesson for you. Diversify your exchanges. Don't use a single one because they can have problems like this. And part of Bitcoin history is that almost every exchange has been hacked. So you got to be very careful. Keep most of it offline, and if you do need to sell, keep it online at multiple exchanges and not just one.
And it's funny because just days ago, there was article after article about how Coinbase was seeking $1 billion valuation and what a great company it is. And I do think they are a great company. I think they do a lot of things right. But there are certain times, like during these crashes, where they don't have enough servers, or maybe there's a problem, they can't synchronize the database across so many servers, so they're forced to shut it down. I understand the complexities of the problem that they're dealing with. It's a very big problem, but still, if you want $1 billion valuation, and we're having ourselves a nice little Monday morning crash, everybody's awake, it's Pacific time, nobody's at Burning Man, you could get something up on the website. Maybe the database is broken behind the scenes, maybe there's larger problems, but I'm sure they have customers out there on both sides. I'll bet there are people that want to buy Bitcoin at the 2,500 sale price, and there are people that want to freak out and sell because they lost a couple $100. But you can't do it.
It's funny because GDAX is up, and that's their exchange thing. So you could go to gdax.com, and I presume that you can use your Coinbase login to get in there. So it's really weird. I guess they're having problems just on one of their properties, and not
like you always have to import your coins from Coinbase if you're going to use GDAX. So I'm not sure if it would. Right. Maybe you could send directly to your GDAX account.
Yeah, it's really weird. I'm deposit funds. I don't know. I'm seeing like just a huge sell wall at 470 Bitcoins at 2572. And that you can see it in the charts there. It's Tone would know better like what sort of thing that means, but it's very interesting how there's that big of a sell wall right now.
It sounds like there's a big whale that wants to get out, and we don't know if they're selling to fiat or if they're selling to Ethereum, or maybe they bought the new Bancor platform, the greatest thing. I don't know.
But that's a lot of money, it's gone. All of a sudden, that as soon as I say it, it's gone. I don't know what happened. Now there's a whole bunch of people that want to buy, like 100 Bitcoins will take it up like dollars really fast. So this is such a, this is one of those days that traders love, right? High volatility, and they can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things. I wish I knew more about this stuff. It does feel like there's a lot of money to be made, but I just don't know much about it. So I sort of stay away from this stuff, except on days like today.
Yeah, they're saying in the chat that sell wall either got pulled or bought, that it disappeared, and they're all quoting the classic South Park, and it's gone. And it's gone. You deposited your money, and it's gone. You need to sell some today, maybe make your rent. Oh, it's gone. Not today. Oh, they're saying all the trolls have joined us in the chat, so welcome to all the trolls. People love Doge. I saw an article today, just random Bitcoin news. There's a new Dogecoin tip bot, and now this time it's on the chain. You have to pay a Doge every time you want to send a Doge tip, but because it's on the chain, presumably there isn't a centralized thing with all the addresses in it, and presumably you won't get robbed from like the last Dogecoin tip bot. I took a lot of crap back in the day from people saying that centralized tip bots were okay. But let us remember the lesson of Dogecoin tip bot. They raised VC. They spent VC. They ran out of VC. Then they raided their own tip bot coffers for money. And then Doge went up in value, and those people could have had that money, but it was gone.
That's not going to happen to ICOs, is it, Thomas?
It's not as though the ICOs, well, the ICOs, it's different because you're already just giving them the money. You're trading the money for the receipts, but you do get the receipts. The receipts are in the Ethereum system. So as long as the Ethereum system shows up, you'll have your receipts. But the value of your receipts, no one knows. Could be anything. Could go up, could go down. They're saying in the chat, Bitcoin is the new tulip mania. Get out now. They say, why not Ethereum yet? Why isn't Ethereum tulips? I'm not sure. They said Dogecoin is a joke coin. And they're saying if you do the opposite of the walls, you will always win. They say BitShares, another Larimer scam. I hear he's working on a new one called EOS or something. I don't know what that is. See if we can go back to CoinMarketCap, see what's going on.
Well, they jokingly called it Ethereum on steroids. I know that Dan Larimer has a very good bring on his altcoins. So yeah, I don't doubt that he's working hard on it. So at least he'll deliver something. Maybe that's the reason why that BitShares is doing well today, is because of EOS. They did spend a lot of money on that party I went to when I was in New York. They had like a DJ and all these performers. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money to spend on a party on a launch. But I guess that's sort of a normal thing to do. Yeah, he will deliver something. And, I don't know if you remember, but back in 2013 when he had something called ProTip. I don't know if that's even around anymore. The computer mine, you could use your CPU to mine in the very early hours. I actually got in very early. Like I started mining maybe like 20 minutes after they released the code. I actually mined something like 200 BitShares and sold them for like 2 Bitcoins. That easily paid for the computers I used, and that was probably one of the best uses of a CPU that I've ever done. And if you got in pretty early on Steemit, they were sort of like giving them away, like liking pretty much anything. So he has a pretty decent track record of around a bit. So I don't know, maybe that's sort of the strategy that he's using. And Steemit's not doing that bad right now, so who knows?
You're lucky Tone's not here to hear you say that. Although obviously I've made a lot of money on Steemit. I wrote a welcome to the community article, and the community rewarded me handsomely, far beyond the necessities of a welcome to the community article. But that was their choice. It was all voluntary. And if you look at the price of Steemit, it actually has gone up again, so that the money that I was kind of forced to hold because of their system, it's actually worth more now. So
have you sold that?
I sell it gives you a little bit each week. So for a while I was getting like a little bit each week, and then I was getting a lot less, and now I'm getting a little bit each week again. So I sell whenever they give it to me, and otherwise it's locked. I can't do anything about it. But I guess the real thing is, for a while I thought about like selling my account for $500 or something, but it's a good thing I didn't do that. That would have been a terrible move. So worked out. Oh, this is good. People are all destroying us in the chat. They say that the greed has finally reached WCN because we're out of money, don't have a job, so suddenly greedy. Damn you, wanting to pay your rent and eat food, and that's horrible. So, but,
hey, you could live on the street and have more Bitcoin.
I know. I could live in a tent. I could have my like ledger around my neck. Maybe like Lord of the Ledger. Bom 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 bom. Yeah. I don't want to. They say power down my Steem. I do power it down. It gives me like a little bit each week. But I think they changed the economics of that. I've heard. So I might have to like stop my power down and restart my power down, and it would let me power down in a greater fashion. But unfortunately, the whole holding thing worked for me. So now I'm just going to let it pay me whatever, and someday I'll run out of steam, or maybe it'll be worthless. I don't know. It's all fine. It was, again, I wrote it. I wrote an introductory post. I mean, I'm interested in Steem now, obviously. But I was interested in it before. Whenever anyone pays you that much money for a blog post, you have to be interested. Actually, Jimmy, there it is. The nightmare begins. Jimmy Song will post his Medium article on Steam, and now we'll have a comparison. And the audience out there is like, oh yeah, we could get him $30, $60. And remember, you get half of it. Half of it you get to cash out.
All right. So Thomas, you got this is to the audience. You got to understand the reason why I'm writing on Medium and not on Steam is because I'm getting a wider audience on Medium. Soon as you post on Steam, people on Steam will read it, but not really people outside because they immediately think, okay, this is kind of a scam. And really, the reason why I started writing these Medium articles is like because of my own self-interest. I wanted to push Bitcoin in a direction that would help it, resolve some of the problems that it might have. And in fact, today's article is a good example. I wrote this because I wanted people to recognize that there are maybe alternative solutions to UASF or hard forking and all this other stuff. And my hope is that people listen to that. Because I own Bitcoin, that's a far better use of my time than to get, $50 on Steam. Granted, that's kind of nice, but, I'd rather, I'm in this for the long haul. I'd much rather help Bitcoin do its thing. This is why, I contribute to open source projects. It's in my selfish interest, and that happens to align with Bitcoin right now, which is great. And that's the beauty of capitalism, right? And I imagine this is sort of the energy that a lot of ICOs are trying to take as well, is if you're sort of invested in the ICO, then maybe you'll help do stuff that will help that. But, it only goes so far, and, there are moments of collapse and things like that. I write these articles not to earn money. I write these articles because I want to help Bitcoin, and because I hold Bitcoin, that will help my holdings. And I think a lot of people in Bitcoin do exactly that. They contribute to Bitcoin Core or make wallets or do lots of other things because they want to help Bitcoin thrive and make their holdings of Bitcoin worth more. And that's a good thing. That's the beauty of capitalism. And if you are interested in doing the same thing, there's a lot of work that could use your help. So, get out there, market the hell out of Bitcoin, or, fix some documentation on Bitcoin Core, or make videos about Bitcoin. These are all ways in which you can help Bitcoin do its thing. And, if you want to just sit on the sidelines and be an investor, that's good too. You've obviously put some skin in the game. But if you want to sort of make it grow in a hyper way, then, contribute something, add content or marketing or code or whatever it is, and that will help you. And that's why I started writing these articles. I kind of wish I did more of that. And there was like a 2-year hiatus where I didn't really write anything. I kind of wish I did. Maybe that would have helped in some way. I have no idea whether my contributions help or whatever, but at least I'm putting something out there with the investment thesis that it will help my own holdings.
All right. Well, some of that broke up for me and I couldn't hear some of it, but you're right, Jimmy. It is good to just write articles and to try to help Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I do think if you copy and pasted it into Steam, in addition to that, you'd probably get an extra $20 or so. So I'd look into that just because $20 is $20. But let's talk about the other solutions. What other solutions are there? We could split Bitcoin in two. You're saying a Solomon solution? That sounds scary. What else can we do? I think the reality is that there's a sense of urgency in the community. People are upset. They're bored. They've been reading about scaling for 2 years. They can barely understand it. They don't care. And they want to get forward. They've heard of new things, and they think new things are going to be better. Lightning Network, confidential transactions, any of the cool ideas they've talked about that we don't have yet. Why can't we have our new ideas? What else can we do, Jimmy, besides moving forward on August 1st with a user-activated soft fork?
Yeah, and that's the gist of my article, right? Is there is an alternative, and really the argument I make in my article is that you can't solve the problem at the level And the problem really is that we have two groups, miners and developers, that are sort of in conflict right now. You want, and they both want more control over Bitcoin in total. And I've seen it from that perspective. Sort of Bitcoin Unlimited is a way for miners to cut out developers. UASF is sort of like a way for developers to cut out miners and so forth. And what I argue is that really it's an issue of control, and we've been asking the wrong question, which is how do we scale Bitcoin? Because we have two potential solutions that no one's really agreeing on. The question we should be asking is, how do we give these guys more control? And you can do that by sort of splitting Bitcoin in two, but like you said, it's scary and it'll probably cause massive collateral damage. The way that I propose is, hey, why don't we use this other thing called sidechains? It's been in the works for a long time. There's already sort of a working implementation in something called Liquid. And there's another one that's pretty close in Drive Chains, and that would let you do lots of other things, like experiment with different features and see how well they work, and let users sort of choose. And that's sort of the thing that I would like to see more of. And I think that could potentially solve this whole issue by having sidechains that are doing Lightning, and another sidechain that does bigger blocks, and another sidechain that does like futures markets, or Schnorr signatures or whatever. That to me would be much more interesting, and to sort of keep the main Bitcoin the same and have side chains that are doing different things. And I don't know if it would work or not. I can't pretend to have look through all of the possible incentives and ways that these things can be abused. But we should, as a community, at least look into this very extensively, because it has the potential of solving this whole problem for free, and we get all this other stuff, which would be amazing. But as a community, we're sort of all embroiled in this, and there isn't that much appetite to go look at these new solutions, it looks like. And the fact that my article isn't getting that many views sort of tells me, this isn't maybe I titled it wrong. So I mean, it might be my fault entirely, but there's this possibility that maybe this isn't that interesting to people because it's not sort of the solution that they prefer. But it might be better.
Well, let's go through a little history here now. I don't know why this happened, but I'm going to lay it out for everybody. This is my take on the last couple of years. Now, Blockstream started out, they had a couple of really smart founders. I want to say Adam Back, maybe Alex Fowler. I might be getting the names wrong, but they're really solid core of founders. They raised a lot of money. And again, you raise money, maybe it came from banks or insurance companies. I don't know where the money came from, but they have a bunch of money. They start buying up core developers. Seems like a good idea. Get them on the same page, work on some ideas like you're talking about, side chains and Liquid, whatever. It sounds good. Now, somewhere along that line, that narrative changed. And everyone, and not everyone, but there's a feeling in the community that Blockstream is some kind of evil Borg conspiracy. I have no evidence to this. I have no evidence against this, right? I'm just saying there's a feeling out there. I don't know how we get rid of that feeling, but it seems like right now the big feeling is core Bitcoin programmer conspiracy on one side, or not even to say evil, but conspicuous Chinese miner conspiracy on the other side. A bunch of users who want to use Bitcoin because they're libertarians or they're cyberpunks or they're get rich quickers, or they're just, caught up in this whole mess, or they had trouble with their bank account once and now they hate banks. I don't know why they're into Bitcoin, but those are our people. And how are we going to get those people together? And I want to keep in mind that this is in the context, in the shadows of Megyn Kelly interviewing Alex Jones on the NBC network. The national broadcasting company is now addressing conspiracies in the mainstream. So Jimmy, how are we going to solve our Bitcoin conspiracy?
I made this point in my article, which is that there are two ways to sort of solve this issue right now. We have a zero-sum game, essentially a zero-sum game with consensus. You're either for one side or the other. If you try to do some compromise like Barry Silbert did, then everyone's going to hate you, and they're going to accuse you of trying to do stuff on your own and making it sucks, right? it's a zero-sum game. Politics is very destructive. It's a lot of posturing. There's a lot of like accusations, and you have to tear someone down to make yourself look good, and that's something that we all hate. We can go another route, and that's using innovation. And sidechains are an innovation. That's something that we should really look at. That's a wonderful thing about innovation. One of the properties is that it unifies people, it gives people choices, it makes things better, and you can construct on top of it instead of sort of like being forced to play a zero-sum game. And why aren't we looking at that more, right? Like that's the big question to me, is that there seems to be a resistance to looking at more of these alternatives that might be much more fruitful than sort of tearing each other down, speaking badly about people, coming up with conspiracy theories about who's doing what. Who knows? Maybe some of that's true. But despite that, right? Like that's you're looking at it from a perspective of you having to win versus the other. If you think from sort of a third perspective of, can we both win? Can we all win? Can we make Bitcoin better? I think that's the way to go. And that to me is a much better solution. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's not a feasible solution, but we at least owe it to ourselves to go and try it, right? Like go and look into it as much as possible, because that's 100 times better than tearing each other down, excluding people, like demonizing others and doing all that stuff, which is very destructive and causes a lot of collateral damage.
Now, I think part of this came about when the technology fix that we need to do these new problems came right through the center of the Bitcoin upgrades. And we had this thing where fixing one problem accidentally broke something else. And that's where I think we are today, because even to do sidechains like Liquid, would we have to change Bitcoin, like fixing transaction malleability, something like that?
Well, Liquid runs a little differently. So the way Liquid works is that you just deposit to a multi-sig address, and there's sort of a federation that controls that multi-sig address, basically. So there's like 11 entities or something like that, and you need like 8 of 11 or something to release those funds. So you're sort of putting your trust in those 11 entities on that sidechain. But on that sidechain, like confirmations are instant, and you can do all sorts of things. And at least from the demo I saw back in January at Construct 2017, their product works almost exactly like Bitcoin, except you don't have to wait, right? There's no proof of work. There's just sort of like approval by that federation. And that works great for like exchange to exchange, sort of like merchant sort of things, and that would be an amazing thing. The problem there is that you have to trust those 11 people. With something like drive chains, there's a soft fork that's needed. There's a sort of merge mining that needs to happen because there's no proof of work on the side chain. And yet you have to do all these other things to make sure that the miners are enforcing certain rules with regard to that. But it's a soft fork, so you can do it and upgrade the whole network without too much trouble, as long as the developers and miners agree. And that right now seems pretty unlikely because of the scaling issue. There's really no cooperation that seems likely right now. But I mean, then again, Pacquiao and Mayweather fought, and they look like they were in an impasse for a long time. So I don't know, maybe this is sort of like the breakthrough that we need.
It does seem almost a horrible mirror of our current government situation, where despite total control, the Republicans have the president, the House, and the Senate. They don't seem to be able to pass a single bill. And it's been going back and forth with both houses almost controlled by half, and nothing gets done except for a couple of regulations here and there, kick the can down the road. But I don't know what else we can do. I'm looking at the chat. The chat says there's a lot of greed out there, selfish greed, that's making it so that the miners have a pretty good situation right now. They think they should just stick with that forever. Any kind of change could change their situation. And not to say Satoshi didn't see this, but let's go back to the beginning of creation of Bitcoin. Would this be a problem? At a certain point, would miners be making so much money from mining Bitcoin that they would refuse to make any change no matter how insignificant, with the exception of like a 0-day exploit, they have to fix it or you could steal the money. Shouldn't this have been foreseen, the hardening of the protocol? This seems pretty logical to me. I'm not entirely against them in this scenario.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of the point, right? Like you don't want a store of value to change very much. You want it to, you know, avoid disaster, like a 0-day exploit of like SHA-256 hash or something like that. You want to avoid those kind of situations, but you know, having stability is actually really, and you know, that allows a store of value to stay a store of value. The wonderful thing about, you know, like having an innovation like sidechains is that you don't really affect the center of it that much, and you could do all your experiments on the side, and you know, you can give users a choice. That would be an amazing thing if it can be worked out. Sort of changing the core should require a lot of technical vetting and all this other stuff. And that's a wonderful thing, because you don't want to release something that might have exploits or flaws. Yeah, I wrote this in my article, frustration from both sides, right? Because they want, it's not that they don't want, like, they don't want things to stay static. The miners want larger blocks, developers want SegWit. They're, you know, they're different things, but there's still changes to the protocol. You know, is that something that's like absolutely necessary for Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that if we do nothing and, you know, keep going, that like suddenly Bitcoin would drop or something like that. I don't see that scenario as much. I mean, from the users I've talked to, most of them just want to be left alone with the Bitcoin that they have. They're getting scared by UASF and all this other stuff. And I don't know, maybe that's related to some of the price decrease today.
Well, what about the spam transactions? If I sent enough spam transaction, could I make it take several days for you to send your Bitcoin? At a certain point, is the backlog so big that we'll never grind through it, or will we always just be a couple days behind or a couple weeks behind? Does that break the whole experiment?
Yeah, that's interesting, because whoever is spam attacking the network, it costs them a lot of money, right? Your transaction fee has to be higher than whatever someone else is doing. And that is sort of an attack vector that I don't think we've really thought through, because it's possible for miners to generate that on their own and sort of artificially raise the fees. You know, if it's their own transaction, they're not like losing any money. And especially if they're a conglomerate, they can sort of like artificially raise the prices so that they make more money doing that. But at the same time, then, you know, they're making it more difficult for people to transact. Is that, you know, that could be a bad thing. Yeah, it's difficult to say whether or not that's a good or a bad thing for the network. Yeah, I mean, I would tend to think it's bad, just because they're sort of cheating the system a little bit. As far as like, is it always going to be on this delay? I don't know. Would it be okay if there was that delay, if Bitcoin was mainly used as a store of value? I think it would be okay. I mean, like, there's a lot of other stores of value that take a long time to sort of divest from. I mean, if you try to sell your house, it takes a long time, especially depending on price and market conditions and things like that. But it tends to be a pretty good store of value as long as the population's increasing. You know, they're going to be.
And if you're working with zero confirmations, you can see the money's been sent. It might take a week for it to get there, but it's on its way, right? Unless they've faked you out somehow, right?
Yeah, there's always sort of like a double spend problem with that, and especially with like replaced by fee and stuff. Like, you shouldn't trust zero comp transactions. Whereas, you know, like with some of this other technology, that would maybe be possible to trust the zero conf, as long as, you know, certain things. You know, I would like to see more of that tech come to Bitcoin. You know, a lot of these sort of interesting things that are happening in some of these other altcoins, they can easily be brought to a sidechain. I like sidechains in general, just because you can do sort of experiments like that, and that's always sort of been the argument against altcoins, is that, well, Bitcoin can just build a sidechain that does very similar things. And Rootstock is a good example. That's supposed to be a sidechain that does a lot of what Ethereum does. It's a smart contract platform. You can, I guess, issue tokens on there and things like that. That's ultimately the goal of that. But I mean, it needs some technology to come through with it. I mean, I just wish we would look into this more. And I got to give credit to Paul Sitork. I can't pronounce his name, but he's the one that's sort of been proposing drive chains as sort of the solution for scaling. I really think we should look into it. I'm not going to give my endorsement or anything until I know more technically. But as a community, as developers, as miners, as users even, we need to look into this thing and see if it satisfies all the needs that we might have in one direction or the other. Because the scaling debate has kind of gotten out of control, and it's become this very zero-sum game where it's going to start having some pretty big consequences if we don't handle this properly.
It is a very unique problem that we're trying to solve, though. If you look at it, we have this decentralized Bitcoin development team with many participants from different companies. Then you have the Bitcoin mining team with less participants from less companies. Then you have the Bitcoin user team. These three teams from a top-down organizational structure, you think someone would just come to tell them what to do and give them parameters and some kind of a deadline. Kind of fun, but no one knows what the solution will be. Jimmy Song, do you have any closing thoughts as we're on our way out of this program?
First of all, first of all, don't worry too much about the price, right? Like, we're having this show because
seems like your connection is getting
sucks. My connection sucks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Is it better? Thumbs up if you can.
Go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you. You could just turn your video off if you want, if it's getting bad.
Yeah.
Somebody's playing video games, streaming videos. Something's happening over there.
Like it. All right. So I mean, my message to the community is this is a normal event, having, things like 15% drops in, 8 hours or something like that. And this will happen again. The big thing is always look at the long term.
It's all happening, but now the audio is cutting in and out. We've been watching the price of Bitcoin. Usually.
Oh boy, this sucks. Oh, my bandwidth sucks. Hello?
We can end the show better than that. Come on. Come on.
What's going on?
YouTube and Google. Been with you for 2 hours. Gonna end the show with a technical error. Come on.
I know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Message is going to be short and sweet. Don't worry. That's it. Right?
It's playing about half your word.
Oh, that sucks.
One more chance.
Don't worry.
This is just embarrassing. I feel like I've been being mean now. All right, so I'm going to put that away. It's the price of Bitcoin is $25.78 off of a high, an all-time high of $29.80. The price of Ethereum seems to be holding and maybe even growing, although it looks like it's dropped recently while we've been talking at $353. As always, valuation, and they're trying to get their website up too. Check out Jimmy Song's article, how to give everyone more control at medium.com/@JimmySong. And we've got about 200 live viewers still with us. I'm going to check out the chat room right after this. So thanks so much for everyone for chatting, giving us a thumbs up and a like. And we're going to end with some more Zhao Tong, who reminds us, when the price is down, you should pick up.
Don't ever be scared. The market's full of bears.
Bears.
But I'm a bull and I'm bullish, and no, I'm not bullish, so yes, we gon' do this. Come on, y'all. Governments don't offend me. I never give a fuck about my enemy. You're never gonna stop this. There's way too much adoption. Overstocking now Zynga. Tiger directing now Expedia. Name just keep growing, picking up on the low end. Price down, pick up.